The Russia-Ukraine crisis has now come down to decisive situations. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday, February 21, 2022 recognized the Lugansk and Donetsk regions of eastern Ukraine as separate countries. And with this decision, both the countries have directly stepped on the threshold of war. Along with Russia, the US has spoken of sanctions on Lugansk and Donetsk. Britain, Canada and Japan have also announced economic sanctions on Russia. Apart from this, the United Nations has also condemned Russia in strict words. About 150,000 soldiers of the Russian army are stationed on the border of Ukraine. Vladimir Putin says that the decision was necessary because the Ukrainian army runs on the instructions of NATO. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has said, "We are not afraid, we'll try to find a way out through peace and diplomacy, but will not give anything to anyone." However, in the midst of all these developments, a question is also arising today that what does Russian President Vladimir Putin have, which he is not afraid of anyone? What kind of weapons they have, what is their diplomacy? Due to which today they are ready to collide with the whole of Europe and America. Today we will try to find the answer to this question. Beginning of Vladimir Putin. The hallmark of one's personality can be understood from his childhood. Putin was born and brought up in Leningrad, which is now St. Petersburg. Putin grew up in an environment where fighting among boys was common. That's why Putin learned judo at an early stage. In October 2015, Putin said, "I learned from the street fight in Leningrad that if the fight is fixed, then hit the first punch yourself." The ancestors of Vladimir Putin used to be Stalin's cooks. And Putin was inclined towards espionage. After studying law, Putin started working for the security agency KGB. The work was espionage. After this, Putin joined President Boris Yeltsin's government as prime minister in 1997 and became acting president in 1999 after Boris resigned. In 2000, Putin contested the first presidential election and won an easy victory. After this, in the politics of Russia, what Putin wanted to happen? Putin became the president of Russia again in 2004 and for the third time in 2012. And after this, in the year 2018, Vladimir Putin was sworn in as the president of Russia for the fourth time. This term of Putin will last till 2024. Russian leader Putin is the longest-serving president after Joseph Stalin in Russian politics. The graph of popularity of Putin, who has taken over the rule since 2000, has increased continuously in Russia. In the first election, he got 53% of the votes. And 77% votes in 2018. However, Western countries say that Putin rigged the election. We don't know whether the allegation is true or not. But it is certain that no major demonstration or ground protest was ever seen against Putin during this period. Russian media portrays Putin as kind, a dog lover. The era of Putinism in Russia is such that many products are sold in his name in the market. But what is it that made Putin Putin? The high level of popularity of Putin in Russia from his first two terms is understandable. Russia's picture changed when Putin became the president of Russia for the first time in the year 2000. Then the Soviet Union had collapsed. This was the period of Russia's plight. The economic standard was low, there was an atmosphere of corruption. In such a situation, Putin's entry raised hope and Putin also lived up to it to an extent. From the year 2000 to 2008, Russia's GDP increased significantly. The number of people living below the poverty line has already halved. Experts say that after the arrival of Putin, the gap between rich and poor in Russia has also been bridged. According to statistics, Russia's per capita gross national production in the year 2000 was 49,800 rubles, which increased to 461,300 rubles in 2013. In the first 8 years of his tenure, Putin made a lot of changes at the basic level, increased pensions, education, social welfare, social security. Many laws were made to improve the law and order. Experts say that in the 2018 election, Putin was benefited more by his image of a powerful leader at the global level. A speech given by Putin during Russia's election days on March 1, 2018 is very popular. Putin gave this speech for 2 hours, in which he spent an hour intimidating America and European countries. During this, Putin also mentioned about Russia's nuclear power. He told that Russia has made such nuclear missiles, which even America's anti-missile defense system cannot stop. Putin said. To all those who have been fueling the arms race for the last 15 years, who want a one-sided edge over Russia, and want to stop our development by imposing illegal sanctions, I want to tell you that you have failed to stop Russia. Ha! No one wanted to listen to us, nor wanted to take us seriously, so now listen carefully. It is about such a ballistic missile system, which we have prepared in response to America's anti-ballistic. It's definitely an arms race. The US has extended NATO forces in Europe to Russia's western border. Whereas when Germany was unified in 1990, the US had promised that it would not expand NATO in Eastern Europe. But the promise was turned against. America has deployed such ballistic rockets on the Russian border, not only the NATO army, whose purpose is to compete with the missiles of Iran and North Korea, but the reality is that Russia is surrounded by these missiles. Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania were all three republics of the Soviet Union until 1990. Are no longer. Here is the deployment of NATO forces and their missiles. These missiles, positioned right on the border of Russia, can also immediately thwart the Russian attack and if attacked, can cause a lot. America is scared too. Let's go back to that speech given by Vladimir Putin in 2018. On March 1 in Moscow, President Putin unveiled more than 5 of his new missile systems. Said that these missile systems can penetrate American defense. Till now, all the atomic missiles are driven by some fuel engine, not by their own nuclear energy. While Putin claimed that his new missile system has such nuclear reactors that also run them with nuclear energy. Putin named one such missile system, Sarmat-38, which can cover a distance of 11,000 kilometers, weigh 200 tons and can carry several nuclear bombs simultaneously. Defense experts believe that this Russian missile can carry nuclear warheads with up to 40 megatons of explosive energy, whose power is up to 2,000 times that of the US bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The Russians believe that the defense system that is being built in America named Prompt Global Strike, will not be able to spoil the hair of Sarmat-38. During the election speech, Putin also gave details of many such new weapons named Avangard and Kunshal, whose power is unprecedented, although Western countries question the existence of these weapons. It is said that as the economic condition of Russia is at this time, it is not possible for it to bear the cost of making such weapons. They also say that such weapons have to be tested many times, and it is not possible to hide the radiation from them. However, Vladimir Putin responds by saying, "The enemies of Russia should not be under the mistake that all these things are a bluff, a hoax, that our words should be taken seriously. We will not attack first, but in the event of an attack, we will give a befitting reply with nuclear strikes." The opposition completely ended in Russia. Putin is also accused of sidelining his opponents in Russia. Putin is said to have completely destroyed the opposition during his tenure. In the 2018 election, opposition leader Alexei Navalny exposed the enormous wealth of Dmitry Medvedev, the then Russian Prime Minister and a close aide of Vladimir Putin, due to which Navalny was also being well liked among Russian youth. But he was convicted in an old case and his candidature for the post of president was banned. Let us tell you about Alexei Navalny that in August 2019, while returning from Siberia to Moscow, Navalny was given dangerous poison mixed with tea in the plane. As soon as he drank it, his health started deteriorating and he suddenly fainted. After this he was admitted to a local hospital there. On January 17, 2021, Alexei Navalny, who returned to Moscow after undergoing treatment from Germany, was jailed by the Russian government for violating parole rules. He is in jail since then. Earlier in 2015, Boris Nemtsov, a staunch opponent of Putin and former Deputy Prime Minister of Russia, was also shot dead in Moscow. According to media reports, Boris believed that the annexation of Crimea was a unilateral decision of Putin, which Putin took in personal interest. He was about to reveal something about it, but before that he was murdered. Apart from this, Putin is also said to have a strong hold on the Russian media. It is said that the same news is shown in Russia, which supports Putin's decisions and runs propaganda in his favor. Overall, Vladimir Putin has emerged as a successful player in both Russian politics and international diplomacy. Critics, who describe Putin as a dictator, compare Putin to North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, but the truth is that Putin has kept his country Russia, and has stifled Western countries. If there is a confrontation between the US and Russia on the Ukraine issue,